Hey, thanks for joining me again on Chippo Fishing. Today we're at what used to be the local lake. Dam broke several years ago with the hurricane. So I'll be casting into the swollen river with the rains, pulling across, hoping to find some eddies. As you can see, where the water swirls out, the fish should be holding in the slacker waters where the current will pull bait and small fish past them, and they'll be ready for the ambush. And that's when I'll be ready with my little ugly stick on a cork, about 1.5 feet, maybe 2 foot. I'll probably shorten it down and start at 1 foot, 2 foot. We'll see, with a freshly made hand-tied jig. So let's test it out and let's have some fun. Okay, here's our first cast. We'll see what we can do. Okay, now we're getting into the current. I'm going to let it drift out of the current a little bit. And we may have to vary our depths to see where the fish are biting, but basically under these conditions, when the bass sees it, he's going to come up from his little hiding spot and just nail it. In these conditions, believe it or not, fish it all the way to the bank. You never know when that guy's just going to jump up and knock dust. So there you go. That's the start. Now let's go get them. Went for the other side. Just sitting here, just tossed it in, letting it drift back. Wherever I find the bass, under these conditions, there's probably going to be several bass stacked up all together. Sitting on the bucket. Pretty fun. Okay, finally got a little hit on freshly done hand tied. Looks like it's got some shoulders. Oh, little bass. This ain't big league fishing, folks. I'm just out here having a little fun. Look at that, little bass. Not really sitting. Oh, and it just plopped right on out. Not really sitting up on structure like I thought they would be, but just hit it in the slack water. But hey, it's still a little fun. Got a little company, swan, a white swan, resident year-round. Okay, folks, here's a little technique. Not that it's going to improve my situation today, because there's not a lot of fish here, but crappie just love this. When you get the cork and you make the cork move the jig, give it action. You want to splash it, plop it, let it sit there. Wait a second or two, or 10, and splash it again, mimicking a fish chasing bait on the surface. Might get their attention. Just a little trick. Does pay off though. You don't want a lot of movement on your cork, but you can just make the cork move a little bit, lifting your line up. It's gonna cause that jig to move. The important part is remembering to pause in between cork movements. Fishing bridge number 2 out of 3. This is shallow with a lot of hang up, so I've shortened my jig below the bobber. Hoping to get a brim out of here. Back in the glory days when this was actually a lake, I hung a few catfish in here, some hand-sized brim, and about an 8-pound carp too. That was just an awesome fight right there. When the lake was pumping, this little hole was quite the spot. I literally caught 100 bass in like 2.5 hours. I had 2 rods. Threw one out here, let the cork come out, and the eddy would carry it back in. And about the time that it carried it back in, the other cork would go under with the little small schoolie bass, and I would reel that one in. As soon as I landed him, I would throw back out and pull in another bass, just continuous. It was a pretty good day, but that's what happens when the water comes up. The fish are gonna move up to the current to catch an easy meal coming by. Bridge 3. Bridge 2, nothing going on. Bridge 1, 1 bass, 1 bite. So let's just cast on out and see what we can get. Might even get hung up and see. We're gonna let it carry it, current carry it to the slack water, and then we're gonna reel it back in. Okay, now let's do a little slow retrieve. I'm hoping to catch a little brim here by the rocks, but if we don't, it's okay. I'm out here fishing, and this is just awesome. Fishing's wonderful, good for the soul. Catch something is good for the belly too. That's some good slack water right there. Okay. I'm trying the current. We're gonna let it go back out between these two powerhouse of a stream. There's some slack water. Let's see what's there. We're gonna let it go in current. And we'll just pull it on over to this current over here. Maybe a fish here, maybe not. But yeah, it's always good to wet a hook. Well, thanks again for joining me on Chippo Fishing. Not that grand of an adventure, but hey, wet a hook when you can. I just had a few minutes and took a few minutes. Caught one fish, so pretty awesome. And it was fun too. All right, we'll have much more big adventures than this coming up. All right, thanks again, folks. I appreciate your viewing, sharing, and subscribing. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it. Tight lines, folks. Peace.